Okay, so now we're going to be reading the Da Vinci Notebook. So we're no longer actually inside our Benchmark Advanced. This is going to be something different. It's a small group read aloud. So again, here are our questions, but this time it's a little simpler, I think. There's pages that we'll ask questions on. So we'll start with page 2, the Da Vinci Notebooks. What text evidence supports the inference that Da Vinci was one of the most talented people who ever lived? Okay, so same thing. Here's what it looks like. We'll go to page 2. And remember, these are our questions to answer. 8, 12, 2, 8, 10, and 12 is when we're going to do this. So let's take a look. Introduction. Leonardo da Vinci was born on April 15th, 1452 in Vinci, Italy. A man of extraordinary talents, da Vinci is considered one of the most talented people to ever have lived. He excelled as a painter, sculptor, writer, architect, musician, anatomist, botanist, and inventor. He painted the Mona Lisa, which is the most famous painting in the world, and his mural, The Last Supper, is widely reproduced today. Leonardo da Vinci was at the forefront of the Italian Renaissance, which took place in Italy between the 14th and 16th centuries. The term Renaissance means rebirth. The Renaissance was a transitional period from medieval Europe to early modern Europe, effectively bringing Europe out of the Dark Ages and into an era of increasing artistic and scientific development. At age 14, da Vinci left his father and stepmother to apprentice in Florence, Italy, with the artist Verrocchio, whose master was the sculptor Donatello. He studied for 6 years, learning technical skills such as sculpting, drawing, leatherwork, and carpentry. But by the age of 20, da Vinci established his own workshop and was considered as the master artist by the Guild of St. Luke, an organization of painters and other artists similar to a fraternity. So remember, here's our questions. Let's copy these in case you have not already. So we're thinking one of the most talented people who ever lived. I wonder why. If we go back to here, highlight this. He excelled as a painter. All these things are pretty important. One of the most talented, so he excelled in all of those. Botanist and inventor. He wasn't just like good at it, he excelled at them. Okay, so that's pretty important. So now page 8 is the next page we'll go to. So then this is all about Da Vinci. Still more information about him. We're going to skip on a page. Here we are. During the Renaissance, artists became fixated on realism. They were concerned with depicting living beings and inanimate objects as authentically as possible. Da Vinci wrote, "The most praiseworthy form of painting is the one that resembles what it imitates." Okay, so now we're looking at elements of painting. Here's page 8. Remember, whoops. Remember our question right here. What are the two main ideas in the first section of page 8? So two main ideas is what we're thinking about. Okay, so go to page 8. Two main ideas. Here, 1, 2. On the importance of sight and perspective in painting. The painter who draws merely by practice and by eye without any reason is like a mirror who copies everything placed in front of it without being conscious of their existence. Painting is concerned with all the 10 attributes of sight, which are darkness, light, solidity and color, form and position, distancy and propinquity, motion and rest. This little work of mine will be a tissue of the studies in these attributes, reminding the painter of the rules and methods of which he should use his art to imitate all the works of nature which adorn the world. If the eye is required to look at an object placed too near to it, it cannot judge of it too well, as happens to a man who tries to see the tip of his nose. Hence, as a general rule, nature teaches us that an object can never be seen perfectly unless the space between it and the eye is equal, at least to the length of the face.
Light.
How the eye sees light.
Face.
Shh. If you look at the sun or some other luminous body and then shut your eyes, you will see it again inside your eye for a long time. There is evidence that images enter into the eye. This is evidence that images enter into the eye. The eye will hold and retain in itself the image of a luminous body better than that of a shaded object. The reason is that the eye is in itself perfectly dark, and since two things that are alike cannot be distinguished, therefore the night and other dark objects cannot be seen or recognized by the eye. The light is totally contrary and gives us more distinctness and counteracts and differs from the usual darkness of the eye. Hence, it leaves the impression of its image. So, this is really important to how we see light and why light is so important. And this is how we need to understand perspective and looking at things in order for painting, okay? So we'll go back. So where's my, should be, make this a little smaller. Okay, so here's looking for two most important things. Okay, so looking at sight and perspective and light, okay? So we look down here, the eye is perfectly dark, and since two things, therefore, images enter into the eye, okay, because light. So this is 10 attributes of sight. And this is all about perspective. If you look at something and place too close to it, you can't look at it too well, right? An object can never be perfectly seen unless the space between it and the eye is equal. Okay, so it's about perspective and light. And how do I know that? Where's page 2? Perspective and light. Then we go to our key details. An object can't be seen unless it's between it is. An object cannot be seen perfectly unless the space between it and the eye is equal. So I'll write that down. Object cannot be seen perfectly unless the space between it and the eye is equal. Object cannot be seen perfectly. Equal. Okay, so we're talking about that. And that's what you do for the rest of these questions. I'm not going to go through this because it's going to take quite some time.